Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee was a very important organization during the Civil Rights Movement. Though the Civil Rights Movement seemed like a period of time when older people were at the forefront, students began to reclaim their voices and power to ignite changes they wanted to see. It was a movement with no age limit because despite how old one was, everyone had inalienable rights that were being violated. One of these violations were bus segregation, which led to the creation of the Freedom Riders by CORE. Though CORE eventually stopped putting on the Freedom Rides due to violence, SNCC continued the movement.
According to Professor Alden Morris, being young activists, SNCC organizers focused attention on college and high school students first. They reasoned that if they mobilized the young people, who were usually less conservative, then the adult community and the ministers would get involved to protect their children and to hold their respect.
Another movement included the cases of the Little Rock 9 students trying to integrate a school.
At the center of the crisis were these 9 teenagers, selected by the school board because of their excellent grades. The first day, 8 of the 9 went to school together, accompanied by their parents and ministers. They expected some harassment, but no real trouble.
Can you tell me your name, please? Are you going to go to school here at Central High? You don't care to say anything, is that right?
Okay, so some of the similarities I see in activism today, and whether it's during my time as a college student or even prior to that, you see some of the same things being done, like protests, or marches even. So that's something that you see on college campuses a lot. We saw it back in the day as being an effective strategy, and then you still see that now. I think obviously a major difference would be in the use of social media. There are a lot of campaigns or movements that start nowadays on social media platforms. Some people choose to exclusively be involved in that way, while others will use it as a way of starting a movement to then lead to something larger happening. I think one challenge is that there's not enough communication across generations about what worked back in the day that would still be effective now in just terms of planning and organizing around an ask. Sometimes I feel like that's lacking today where, if we think about King, a lot of what was done in some points was to gain voters' rights. So a lot of times now there's protests, but what is it that we're asking or demanding or we want to see at the end of the day?
On the night of Tuesday, October 6, 2015, the UCLA chapters of Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity and Alpha Phi sorority threw a party themed Con Gay Western.
ASU was founded and all the way up until very recently, it was very blatant, the issues that they were dealing with. There was an apartheid struggle in South Africa, so we have to do something about that. It was students aren't graduating, students aren't getting here, Black students don't have safe spaces. And so I think that one of the key differences is that there was a lot more, it was very open and direct as to what the issues were, whereas nowadays they're a lot more covert, thinking of like racism and like microaggressions and all these things. But I do think the similarity is that we're utilizing a lot of the same tactics.
One and then the two and two and then the three and three and then the four and then you gotta, but I can't breathe.
We're still fighting these same struggles, which is very disappointing in certain aspects because, civil rights passed, they gave us access, but then they still don't respect our capacity, our minds to excel in institutions like UCLA. So with that being said, yes, we're still fighting those same struggles.
Bruins are under attack. What do?
Stand up, fight back.
Bruins matter.
Black Bruins matter.
Black Bruins matter.
Black Bruins matter. It's not a costume, our culture. It's not a costume, our culture. It's not a costume, our culture. It's not a costume, our culture.
My name is Destiny McLennan, and I want to know that when I leave this campus, I left an impact.
I'm Samantha Lee, and I believe in equal rights for everyone.
My name is Carla Rodriguez, and as a Chicana, I politically identify with the Black community.
My name is Soraya Aranda, and I believe that UCLA should increase their diversity to better represent minority groups.
My name is Jordan Davis, and as a woman of color, I believe that it is important to fight against our oppressors.